Hi there and welcome to Techopia Live. Thank you very much for joining us today. We are here at KRP Properties. That is so much more than space and actually one of our supporters of Techopia Live. For those of you that join us here today, as you already know, Techopia Live is all about showcasing phenomenal entrepreneurs. And here today with me, yes, that's you. Wow. You talk. Brad Rollo, CEO, founder of GoFor. Now GoFor has already been kind of on people's lips and definitely has making a buzz because you just recently came from the Bootstrap Awards also and being showcased and also awarded there as well. So Brad, let's jump straight into what is GoFor. If anybody's watching this now, explain to us a little bit firstly, where did the idea come from? Because I know you said I got this down to a T, and then of course maybe what exactly it does and how it supports its clients and its members.
Okay, yeah, it's quite simple. We're an on-demand delivery service for construction materials. So basically what happened is over the last 10 years I ran a construction company here in Ottawa, and I quickly realized that I spent all my time in my vehicle running around being a gopher, getting materials for our job sites. You know, typically what happens in a job site, your guys will use materials in different ways, and most contractors will be able to relate to that. So you have these shortfalls, small, medium type orders. The large stuff is handled really well by the suppliers, but the small, medium-sized stuff takes a delivery infrastructure, and there's a big need for the contractor. So GoFor is that void, fills that void. So, you know, what we've done is we have a fleet kind of like Uber. I hate to say it, but we're like Uber Eats, of independent contractors with the different vehicles ranging from a car right up to a cube van. And the user can simply request a pickup from us. And we go get the materials and bring it to their job site. So, you know, one thing when we built it, we started realizing that, or we realized, you know, being a contractor myself, that contractors are creatures of habit. They have their supplier they want to use. They also have accounts most of the time. And you should, as a contractor, you should never pay cash. You should keep everything on your account. So the system is built to allow them to go to any supplier they want where they have their accounts and send us to go get it.
Okay, well, that's pretty much it. That's like, but now I love the fact that you say it's kind of like the Uber for construction,
Yeah.
because it just clarifies exactly what that really entails. Now, I want to know, you guys have launched, how long have you guys been up and running now?
So we launched January 23rd last year, or yeah, 2017, with a focus of going after the contractors. What we quickly learned is that, you know, a lot of contractors have always done it their way. So we have a bit of an education process to do. We also realize that to reach thousands of contractors requires a marketing effort. And as we won an award for Bootstrap, we don't have that marketing budget. So we quickly looked at our problem and said, well, we got to get contractors, or we got to get, you know, marketing traction, you know, traction in the city and you know, to prove our business. How do we do it? So we looked at the other way around and we went, you know what? Suppliers have a problem. Suppliers have, their customers really need this. They can't offer it without having, you know, large fleets, and what happens is their fleets are always booked up because of demand. So you call the supplier this morning for something, you might be waiting until tomorrow or 2 days for it. So we took a look at that and said, well, let's start talking to suppliers. And when we did that, say about June 2017, we saw a huge uptake in need. Right? We saw, all of a sudden they were coming to us and saying, like, this is something we really need. And so from there, we did that little pivot, and we started basically launching in August, started working with local partners, and that has expanded, and we've grown it since.
Okay, fantastic. So now you were here, you were just in Toronto recently as well. I know you guys are on the cusp of moving, you know, not just Ottawa, but beyond. Tell me a little bit, how does the next 3 to 5 years look for GoFor?
Yeah, we're trying to beat a lot of people to market, we think. Or some potential competition to market. We also have done a really good job at building up our name for ourselves among suppliers. So we have a long, long list of suppliers across North America waiting for us. So we're looking about, like, if I had all the money in the world and I could buy on every city tomorrow, I'd have over 7,000 partners ready using us. Obviously that's not the case. So we're trying to aggressively grow it while raising money. We're still a bootstrap company. So we're basically in the next little while, we'll be launching a pilot in Calgary, and with some partners and a large supply chain, building supply chain. We're going to the GTA very shortly. We have a ton of partners down there. We're now in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we're doing a big pilot. And then we're looking at other options down in that southeast where it's really booming, southeast USA.
Now, what's interesting about this, I know you briefly touched on it, but you have a background in construction and you have a background in tech. It's great that that's all come to fruition now to allow you to create this. How are these two, how are these two industries different? I guess, and almost similar. One was saying, how's that challenge or that kind of bridge been in trying to connect construction and tech together?
Well, it's definitely been, I think over the next year, this year, you're going to start hearing more about construction tech, or con-tech as we like to call it, because you've got a broken industry. Productivity is way down. It's actually 1960s level. So you're starting to hear more and more tech companies out trying to, help construction companies be more productive. It's more of a challenge than most people think, 'cause it requires a learning. They have an older group of people who, require an education. They've done it this way all the time. So yeah, it's just.
It's a process.
It's a process. Yeah,
I know. That's like a deep question. He's like, man, I can talk about that all day long.
You know what I was thinking? So when I started the construction, so I came back from a tech background, left that to just get into construction and real estate development. And my idea when I started it was like, hey, you know what? I got this great tech background. Construction needs technology to do it. Well, let's do it. We'll start using tech to be more efficient and stuff like that. And then I got in there, and then you're like, wow, this is next to impossible at the time, right? Like technology hadn't caught up where, there's apps on everybody's phone, and everybody had a smartphone, has a smartphone now. Yeah. Back then, you're trying to, I just need time management would be a good start. Yeah. And we're like, okay, that's not going to work. You got this phone, you're still, in the 2004 phone, you got that Nokia phone. Yeah. And we're like, okay. Then you start looking at different ways, and you're like, you almost kind of just put your hands up at some point and just said, okay, this is not going to work. Mm-hmm. And then, you got mindset shift and the sharing economy, the on-demand economy and stuff like that. So I think we've hit that, critical mass where people realize that we got to use tech to be more efficient in construction. Mm-hmm. So.
Wow. So, okay, that sounds fascinating. Now, firstly, congratulations with, stepping out there and once again taking on this industry. As you said, it is a huge industry, but it's certainly an industry that can, use some updates and use some support as well through tech. So I'm glad that you're in that space, and congratulations for you and your team and moving forward. I guess the last question I will ask, being once again, an entrepreneur that's been in one industry and starting a new business now, what has been your drive to say, hey, I want to start this new company, I want to start something new again, going from tech, going into construction and starting new again?
Well, having been in construction for 10 years, I figured it can't be any harder. So, yeah, quite easily. I was looking for a change. I probably, had burned myself out of construction a couple years before I finally left. I'd always kind of, dreamt about getting back into tech, and just never, kind of stopped dreaming about it and didn't see the opportunities. And then it was just one day, I was having a beer with a friend, and we were talking about, what a typical construction guy would do, complain about his day. Yeah. And he's like, complaining about being a GoFor, and he's kind of like, there might be something there. And then I'm like, oh wait, light bulb. Hey, there's a model for this, and it kind of taken off and center. So. Beautiful.
Wow. Okay, I love it. Light bulb. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard it here. You heard about Contech, and you've heard about Brad's amazing journey up to this point. Brad, we're so excited to have you once again, an Ottawa-based company that's really trying to innovate and change within an industry. So excited to talk to you about that. For those of you that's watching this here on Techopia Live, thank you very much for joining us. Make sure that you stay tuned. We have tons of stuff coming your way. In fact, this week, there's lots of broadcasts coming your way as well, including, I'm going to have to keep that a secret. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, sign up for our newsletter. You can go to techopia.email to get our newsletter, and you can get more insight on what's happening on a weekly basis. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here.